Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time.
Alright, back one, pick one. Scape Shift is garbage. Gauge is decent. Meteor Golem is decent. Those are the only considerations here. I like Meteor Golem in that it keeps us more flexible than Cage. Can play it in any deck, so it's a pretty good first pick. Even though Cage might be slightly better on rate. As a first pick, I think Meteor Golem makes a little bit more sense. Follow that up with, how about another colorless card? Sigil Sword is great if we can support it in a nice aggressive deck. Gloves is fine with enough evasive creatures. Luminous Bonds is nice removal, so is Strangling Spores. But Sigil Sword is a bomb. And we could still be in any archetype here, which is a luxury of taking these colorless cards. Alright, well, pretty interesting pack. So, Sigil Sword makes us lean towards a more aggressive archetype, and of course white is pretty known, like white-red Boros is known for being the more aggressive archetype. So Angel of the Dawn would fit in nicely. Lich's Caress is a pretty strong card as well, although it doesn't really fit too well with the Sigil Sword, since Caress is making us play more defensive decks than Angel of the Dawn. And then there's Enigma Drake, which is all of a sudden a multicolor card. So I don't love taking it here. I think Angel makes sense. Alright, what do we have here? Had we taken Lich's Caress, it's unclear what we would take here. Maybe Bogger Brute, move into red-black. Could still take Bogger Brute, move into red-white. Pyromancer is okay, but I think I prefer Brute. And then there's Rustwing Falcon, which is a great combo with Sigil Sword and a nice 1-drop. Keeps us in white, although I think Brute is a better card than Falcon. I think it is between these two cards. If we take Falcon, we're technically not committed to Boros. We could still be, let's say, a blue-white artifact deck, since we already have 2 artifacts. And move into blue-white. Brute is slightly better, but commits us to Boros right away. This one's close. I think I'm leaning Falcon. Alright, Sleep could be a nice finisher in an aggressive deck. Although we do need to make sure we pick up some creatures. Otherwise there's Strangling Spores if we wanted to move into black-white as a decent removal spell. But I don't hate the idea of maybe a blue-white artifact-based deck where Sleep can be a finisher. We do want to make sure that the deck is still aggressive to leverage Sword and Angel. Yeah, I think it has enough upside. Alright, some decent options here. Both Drill Master and Aviation Pioneer are exciting. Pioneer gives us an extra artifact for any potential artifact synergies we might pick up later. Gives us an extra flyer for Sigil Sword to equip. Plays well with Angel and our Go White theme. So I think it has enough upside over Drill Master. Although, if we take Drill Master, then we're not committing as much to blue. We could still be more flexible. Let's say the next pack has an amazing red card. Let's say the bots are drunk and there's a Heroic Reinforcements there. Then we could still pivot back into red-white, and Drill Master is an excellent 2-drop for the aggressive decks. Whereas Pioneer definitely commits us to blue-white. So this is definitely a decision we're making. But I kind of like the Pioneer here. Alright, did not get punished yet. What do we have here? Nothing too interesting. Don't think we want to main deck Invoke, since we already need to make sure we end up with enough creatures. Don't think we can play many non-creature spells, and Invoke isn't high up on my list. Can play Anticipate as filler in case we don't end up with any 2-drops. But I don't really intend to play it. And I guess we're still not really punished for blue-white over red-white. Sure Strike is a fine trick if we ended up red-white. Nothing here that I really want to play. Aegis is a pretty bad combo trick. So we might still take the Sure Strike in case red-white happens. And nothing really here. Could be uncommon for Vault. We could take a Trumpet Blast in case we do end up red-white, go wide, and don't pick up any Inspire Charges. Or we can take Lava Axe as a finisher in the red-white deck. There's also Two-Headed Zombie in case we want to keep the door open for black-white potentially. I think I'm just taking the Zombie. It's the most playable card. Alright, well, if blue-white artifact aggro comes together, Gearsmith Prodigy could be playable. Got 3 artifacts total right now with Sword, Meteor Golem, and Pioneer. Can hope to pick up a few more. I think that's the pick here. And Hard Blade or Waltz in case black still happens. I mean, technically we could not be white and could just be like a blue-black artifact deck as well, if we don't get any more white cards. We're still pretty flexible here. The next pack is going to determine where we end up. Do want to increase our creature count for Angel and for Sigiled Sword. Don't hate Hard Blade. Waltz is also fine. I think I'll take the creature here. And nothing outside of the Sea Serpents. Got a Trumpet Blast anyway. So we're a little bit all over the place after the first pack, but we have an idea of which deck we want to be. So, and let's see what we open. Alright, well, this is the very stacked black pack with Graveyard Marshal, Murder, and Sovereign, as well as Herald of Faith, which is great. Cavalry would be nice too, so a lot of strong cards here. So this is kind of the pick that determines how the rest of the draft is going to go. We could pick one of the black cards, and then I guess we could be blue-black. We could pick the Herald and stick to our original blue-white plan. And there's quite a few blue and white cards we can hope to wheel. So let's say we do end up blue-white. Then this is what we're working with at the moment. Can take the Herald of Faith, and then it's pretty likely that we wheel one of these 4 playables, which would all be fine additions to the deck. I think that's more realistic than taking a black card, since our black is definitely worse than our white so far. Yeah, I think I'll take the Herald. Bloodletter and Felspectre would be pretty good, although Rogue's Gloves and Pioneer are still fine additions for a blue-white artifact-based deck. And we do have quite a few flyers already. Falcon, Pioneer makes a Thopter, got Angel, Herald. So we've got a lot of flyers to leverage this Rogue's Gloves. Or we can just take the Pioneer and have more creatures to begin with. Any chance we wheel Pioneer. Don't really expect it to. It's not impossible. Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of Rogue's Gloves in this blue-white deck. Do need to make sure we end up with enough creatures here. Already have 2 equipment. There's definitely some diminishing returns there. Alright, well, this is a nice pickup. Pyromancer's Cage. Courser would also be excellent here. Another flyer to pair with our Rogue's Gloves and Sigiled Sword. But Cage is just such efficient removal. Can deal with any problem. That I don't think we can pass it up. Small chance we wheel one of these 2 cards, which would be great. Omen Speaker, I guess, would be fine as well. Horizon Scholar is great. Sift is great. Gotta go with the Scholar, I think. But Sift would also be pretty good. And now we can maybe look at Luminous Bonds. Essence Scatter is also decent, but we're more a tap-out deck, especially with these 2 equipments. It's gonna be a little tricky to keep up Essence Scatter. And I think I prefer Luminous Bonds over Cavalry, even though Cavalry would be decent too. Alright, some more good cards here. Exclusion Mage is a nice tempo play. Gives us a creature and helps us deal with the board. We're a slightly aggressive deck, so sometimes it can be awkward to include Take Vengeance in your aggro decks if the opponent's playing defense. Pretty easy Exclusion Mage here. And alright, another Pioneer is excellent. Do we take it over Divination? I am a fan of Divinations, but Pioneer is kind of perfect in this deck. Plays well with Rogue's Gloves, plays well with Angel of the Dawn, Sigiled Sword, any artifact synergies we might pick up, although we haven't seen any Scholar of Stars so far in the draft, so hopefully those show up in the 3rd pack. Yeah, I think we gotta take Pioneer. Well, wish we could take all these cards, even the Field Creeper. Yeah, this is tough. So how many cheap artifacts do we have so far for Scholar of Stars? We've got Rogue's Gloves, Sigiled Sword, double Aviation Pioneer, and later up the curve we have a Meteor Golem as well. The problem with Pegasus Courser right now is that we don't have a lot of creatures that benefit from the flying ability. because most of our creatures already have flying, and the ones that don't fly don't have a ton of power and toughness. Ideally we would have both here, because then Scholar gains flying with Courser, we draw cards, more board presence for sleep. Like in a vacuum, of course Courser's a better card, but in our deck Scholar might be the better pick. Alright, let's take a Scholar Stars. And now we can decide between Divination and Dwindle, both pretty good. How much removal do we have so far? Got a Luminous Bonds, pseudo removal in the form of Exclusion Mage, Cage, Sleep is more of a finisher. So could use another removal spell. Meteor Golem's removal too, but it's pretty pricey. Card draw never hurts, but we do have a Rogue's Gloves. That already provides a bit of card advantage. Can't spend too much mana drawing cards, need to affect the board as well. I think I'll take a Dwindle. Alright, another Pioneer is excellent. So I'm pretty happy with the Scholar of Stars pick so far, now that we wield the Pioneer as well, as another cheap enabler. And another 3-drop, which makes having more 3-drops less interesting as well. And any chance we main deck Invoke the Divine, I guess I'll take it over the uncommon here. And Omen Speaker more likely than Wall of Mist. Alright, so we settled into a nice blue-white artifact deck here, got some nice late picks. Hopefully that trend continues in the third pack. Another Angel of the Dawn looks good, Skyscanner is excellent. Those are the considerations. Looking at our curve with triple Aviation Pioneer, I'm really liking Angel of the Dawn over Skyscanner, even though Skyscanner is another nice enabler for Scholar of Stars. So I think I like Angel. Alright, more Angels. I think it's too late to try and splash green for Skyrider Patrol, even though the card's pretty good. The Spurs would be fine too. Don't think I can take it over another Angel. Plays pretty well with Aviation Pioneer. This is kind of a brick. I mean, Cancel's definitely a playable card in M19 Limited. Just doesn't play all that well in our deck. Don't think we want Revitalize. Even though we don't have a ton of 2-drops, so it could be a fine filler card, I guess. How many Angels is too many Angels? We're starting to get to that point. There's also another Aviation Pioneer. Don't think we can take too many more 5-drops. Our curve's getting pretty high. Don't need to play the Frilled Sea Serpent, of course. Could also take the Swift Claw as a 2-drop to fill out our curve a bit better. But we didn't end up with the Pegasus Courser, so Swift Claw gets blanked pretty easily. Until the point, of course, where we play Angel of the Dawn and it maybe gets an attack in. So this is more how our curve actually looks like. So this is pretty high, but Swiftclaw's pretty mediocre. Kinda like the other Pioneer, to be honest. Just another creature to go well with the triple Angel we already have. Not the biggest fan of Omen Speaker number 2 here. Ooh, hello. Skilled Animator. Quite a combo with Aviation Pioneer, making a 5/5 Thopter token. Slam dunk here. And easy Cavalry, helping us go wide with Angel of the Dawn. Already have 2 equipments, so don't take Marauder's Axe too highly anymore. Alright, I mean, I can appreciate an Essence Scatter. Not the biggest fan of Novice Knight. We do have 2 equipments to go with it, but still doesn't help us attack with Angel of the Dawn if we don't draw equipment. Essence Scatter is good interaction. I'll take another Cancel, I guess. I don't think we want Mighty Leap in our double equipment, triple Angel of the Dawn deck. We also have Sleep as a finisher, so I don't think we need Combat Tricks. Probably not going to play double Cancel, but doesn't matter too much. Do we want a Line Breaker? Don't think so. Have infinite 3-drops already. Small chance we want Anticipate as a curve filler, since we do kind of have a whole lot too. Do we want to fill that gap with a Chaplain or a Disperse? I mean, Chaplain's not bad with those equipments. I guess mainly with Sigil Sword. Can gain us quite a bit of life. Plays pretty well with Angel of the Dawn, although Disperse is also a good interaction to have. So both cards have their merit. Don't have a ton of card draw to back up or Disperse for the card disadvantage. Didn't end up with any Divinations. Do have Rogue's Gloves to chain cards together, which makes Disperse a little better. Already have Sleep as a way to remove blockers. I think I'm liking Chaplain. Alright, we ended up with a Swiftclaw anyway, don't know if we'll play it. So, ended up with a pretty sweet blue-white artifact deck. Wish we maybe picked up an extra Scholar of Stars or two as a nice payoff card. Didn't end up with those multicolor uncommons like the Engineer or Ether Shield Artificer or whatever it's called. Those would have been nice additions with all those Aviation Pioneers. Also didn't end up with any Inspired Charges, but with Triple Angel of the Dawn, we've got a similar effect already. Alright, so we need to trim down the deck a little bit. I think I like the 1-drops. Swiftclaw is one of the weaker 2s. Anticipate we don't have to play. I like all the 3s. Cancels, cuttable. The 4s look great. The 5s look good, and these are great too. So how about we start cutting those? Need to make 2 more cuts. I think this is a 17 land deck. Do we need sleep is a question. Do we need 4 Aviation Pioneers, or is 3 enough? I'm not the biggest fan of Gearsmith Prodigy, but since we are an Angel of the Dawn deck, we do get rewarded for curving out to an extent. Prodigy can add up to quite a bit of damage in the appropriate draw. Could be that we don't need sleep, since it's not like our deck has a ton of power and toughness. If we bring back Swiftclaw, then sleep looks a lot better, for example. But we're trying to deal big chunks of damage, mostly with Angel plus Flyers. So I could see sleep not being good enough. We're not the type of deck that has a high density of high power 2-drops that really leverage sleep, where you curve out and then use this to kill the opponent on the spot. Yeah, I think our deck has enough evasion that we don't need sleep. So we need to make 1 more cut. I think Rustwing Falcon's actively good here with all the equipment, and the Angel of the Dawn can add up to a lot of damage. Prodigy is weaker than Falcon in this deck, but I kinda still like it. Yeah, I could see cutting the Essence Scatter since we're mostly a tap-out deck, although on turn 2 we don't have a ton of things to do. So if we're on the draw and we can counter their 3-drop creature, Essence Scatter is great. Turn 3 we're playing a 3-drop most likely. Turn 4 we're either equipping something, playing a removal spell, or playing one of our 4-drops. And turn 5 we're jamming Angel. So outside of turn 2 on the draw, or on the play if our opponent has a great 2-drop, we don't have a ton of time to set up Essence Scatter, but it is still a good card. So I guess it's between Prodigy and Essence Scatter here, at the end of the day. Alright, people prefer Essence Scatter, so we'll cut Gearsmith Prodigy here. Yeah, Prodigy is not amazing. I mean, it just gives us early board presence, and it's nice with Angel of the Dawn if we're curving out. Gives us an early body to maybe equip, but I agree that Prodigy is not exceptional in our deck by any means. Alright, I think we've got our deck. Dawn of the Machine it is. A reasonable hand. It needs to draw some lands at some point. Alright, facing turn 1 Vanguard. Could be red-white, could be black-white. Red-white it is. Let's play Grandma for now. Although, she doesn't even look that old. I don't think she's quite a grandma yet. Skilled Animator looks good here. Make our Thopter 5/5. Exclusion Mage would also be fine, but this applies quite a bit of pressure. Next turn we can back it up with Angel if they don't find a removal spell for the Thopter token. I think I like this. Alright, let's see if they have a Luminous Bonds. Alright, opponent doesn't seem to have an easy answer here. I don't want to lose Pioneer because we have Angel incoming, but if this prompts them to use a trick, I think I'm happy. Sure. We time walk the opponents. Works for me. And now they're facing lethal in the air. Alright, makes sense. But Exclusion Mage is lethal here. Another Angel's nice, but this seems good enough. Alright, sweet. So pretty straightforward game, curved out nicely. Opponent didn't have an answer for the 5/5 flyer. Hand looks keepable. A little on the slow side on the draw, but we've got our Pioneer plus Angel combo. We're likely to draw both since we've got 4 Pioneers and 3 Angels. Scholar might not get cast if we're on the receiving end of some beatdown, but if we get to 6 mana it's going to be great. Would love to draw some 2-drops here. Scries to the bottom. Hey, thanks for the 100 bits there. And Feeble, appreciate the support. Alright, we drew the 2-drop, right on curve. Opponent trying to mill us with Millstone. We're probably going to be able to outrace that with this hand. Main phase, activate Millstone. Alright. Now we don't have to play around Hard Blade, so they did us a favor. Omen Speaker, alright. Probably just gonna play Exclusion Mage since we don't have anything better to do. Keeps them both. Alright, there goes Meteor Golem. Yeah, let's send that one back. Scholar of Stars, fair enough. I think we like Angel of the Dawn. And they can trade for Exclusion Mage. Alright, let's see how they stabilize from here. They'll need a big flyer here. Divination's not gonna cut it. And replace Omen Speaker. So normally you would like to scry first before drawing, but they maybe were trying to draw into something cheap they could play after casting Divination. Cage isn't bad, so if we cage here we can hit them for 6. Probably better to just play another Angel. Attack with everyone. And they're going to be hard-pressed to recover from this. Alright, that's a start. Now we can play Scholar. Still no great reason to cage the Omen Speaker. It's a pretty interesting interaction here with the Scry 2 and the Millstone, since if we keep both on top, then they probably mill them both. And these would actually be reasonable cards to draw. So I think we'll bottom them, put Luminous Bonds first. Probably the... I guess we could probably... By the point where we're reaching the bottom of our library, we probably have enough mana to cast Scholar into Luminous Bonds. Does that matter? Yeah, I think I'll put Luminous Bonds first still. I don't know, it's a pretty unimportant decision, but it's fun to think about. Alright, that'll do it. So we had a pretty nice curve there. Picked up the 2-drop. And then curved out, and Millstone did not end up winning them the game, so it was essentially a dead card. I guess it drew them a card with the Scholar of Stars. So it replaced itself at the end of the day. Alright, well this might be a nice draw for Rogue's Gloves with double Pioneer providing flying creatures. Cage to get rid of an opposing flyer. I like it. Alright, the blue-white mirror. A Wind Mage. A Wind Mage is unfortunate since that provides a blocker for the Pioneer token. But I guess in blue-white we're going to be facing quite a few flying creatures from the opponent. So we'll see what happens here. Next turn we can play cavalry. Alright, Scholar. So now playing cavalry is less appealing. We could equip the Thopter token attack, but that takes up our entire turn. We could get ahead with the Rogue's Gloves. Let's say we Rogue's Gloves attack, draw a card, opponent leaves back Wind Mage, then we cage or dwindle it. They're gonna fall pretty far behind in that race, but the Scholar's gonna start attacking us too. I think I'm just going for the mana efficient play. And make sure we don't take too much unnecessary damage, since our deck has a pretty good late game looking at this hand. So I don't mind dragging out the game a little bit, instead of trying to force something through. Alright, opponent sends both. So if they do have Inspired Charge, this could become a 4-4. So if we were to double block, it still trades, which I think is acceptable. Any other combat tricks we should keep in mind? If it's just a +2/+2 Mighty Leap, then we might want to triple block instead. And we don't really lose out anything if they have an Inspired Charge instead. And if they don't have anything, then that's a good block for us as well. So I think triple blocking to play around Mighty Leap as well as Inspired Charge makes sense. Alright, Inspired Charge it is. They might have wanted to order blockers differently, since they ended up killing Aviation Pioneer instead of our 2/2 Knight token, which presumably is more valuable, unless for some reason our opponent has a bounce spell for the token, which would make more sense. Alright, that was a good exchange for us, I think. What do we want to do next? Did not draw the land, sadly, which would have let us equip plus play a 3-drop. I kind of like playing another Pioneer here, and if they eventually decide to stay back with the Wind Mage out of fear of the Rogue's Gloves, we could cage it or dwindle it. Could make the high variance play of equipping Rogue's Gloves in the hopes of drawing a land, if we're feeling adventurous, but it is pretty bad if we miss. I mean, I guess it's still kind of reasonable. Alright, didn't get there sadly, but because they might still decide to leave back the Wind Mage here, since they're not necessarily winning the race, and they don't want us drawing cards. And if they do attack with the Wind Mage, great, we get to keep attacking with our Thopter token. Could have also moved the equipment second main, I don't think we wanted to do that, but it was an option. Opponent does indeed stay back. Alright, so now we've got a number of options. We could just cage, if they have a cancel, they counter it, and then we don't even get to attack with our Knight since the Wind Mage gets bumped. We could move the Rogue's Gloves to the Knight, since we would be fine trading Knight for Wind Mage, but then if they have any instant speed interaction like Disperse, for example, we kind of get wrecked. We could play Angel, bump the team if they don't have anything. Token would trade for Wind Mage, which is a fine trade for us. But again, if they counter it, then Knight token also doesn't get to attack. So I'm kind of liking using a removal spell instead this turn, or just being patient, attacking with a Knight token, playing a Pioneer, and go wide for this Angel of the Dawn. Pretty tricky spot. I guess we'll start by attacking with the Knight. Again, it is kind of sketchy if they do have a Disperse for the token and then eat the Knight. But I think if they had a Disperse, they probably would have been comfortable attacking with the Wind Mage as well. It's close. We'll see what happens here. Alright, they take it, and I think I'm just going to play Pioneer, keeping up one of each mana. Could have also decided to move the equipment to the Knight, attack, and then play Pioneer. Had a few options there. Alright, opponent does nothing. Can even Pioneer plus Dwindle this turn, which is also pretty appealing. Being able to double spell in the face of counter spells is a good way to play around them. So do we main face Pioneer or Dwindle? Probably Pioneer. Alright, that resolved pretty swiftly. So they might not have anything here, who knows. Not too many flash creatures we need to play around here. Opponent gets their chum block in. I guess I could have a Cleansing Nova, you're right. Not something I considered here. It's a Meteor Golem instead. Yeah, Cleansing Nova makes that a little more complicated than I made it out to be. Meteor Golem destroys the equipment, so now they're just super dead, right? I guess I could have played around Cleansing Nova a little bit better. For example, instead of playing the third Pioneer, we could have just kept it in hand and then just dwindled the flyer, maybe move the equipment around. That could have been reasonable. Because Nova destroying artifacts and enchantments also would have been pretty effective, since it could have destroyed Dwindle, all the Thopter tokens, as well as the Rogue's Gloves. So it was almost as effective as just destroying all creatures. So it wasn't easy to play around Cleansing Nova there. Alright, hand looks decent. We keep having this Horizon Scholar in our opening hand. Alright, turn on Motivator. Gets blanked by our Omen Speaker. And I think I'm happy with the land. Do we want Essence Scatter? We're going to be curving out for the most part, so I don't think we have time for Essence Scatter. And the red-white deck, which presumably this is, mostly plays non-creature spells as their finishers, Heroic Reinforcements, Inspire Charge, which Essence Scatter doesn't counter. Then again, they could have their own Angel of the Dawn, which is a great target for Essence Scatter. So, you know, it's not a clear-cut decision. But given that we have Scholar in hand, we kind of just want to draw lands and find our own Angel of the Dawn. So for now we're just curving out, adding stuff to the board. They are red-white indeed. Mage is great against any auras that they might put on their creatures. So far we don't have any great exclusion mage targets. Could bounce the Motivator, so any future creatures don't have haste right away. We could bounce the Falcon so we can attack for 1. It's kind of medium. Doing nothing is also an option, but it is nice to add an exclusion mage to the board for any top-decked Angel of the Dawn. They might be pinched on white mana, so bouncing the white 1-drop might make more sense than bouncing Motivator. And I'll attack for 1. Could have tried to sneak in an attack with like an Omen Speaker or Pioneer. Although we have to be mindful of Heroic Reinforcements at any point. Alright, Courser is a better cage target. Could also Luminous Bonds it. Does that make more sense? Cage is more mana efficient, but Cage can also get rid of potential artifacts or enchantments. So I guess we like Luminous Bonds more. And is it time to smash and be a little bit more aggressive? I think so. And we might see a trade of Pyromancer here, which is fine. Bogger Brutes. Gains haste and can attack. Alright. Ooh, Rogue's Gloves was a nice one. So we can go on the Rogue's Gloves plan, leave these back to block the Brutes. Draw some cards. And then if they play more flyers, we can answer them with Cage. Let's see, do we have any 1-drops we could draw that we could play? Falcon, so we want to keep up single planes here. Chaplain instead. If we draw land, we can play Scholar. If we double block and they have a Sure Strike, things could get out of hand a little bit. Right, Sky Scanner. Not really something we want to Harromancer's Cage, and now with Falcon they have 2 blockers, so there's no real point in going for it. Ooh, hello. That was a nice draw. We could also animate the Rogue's Gloves itself, but animating the Thopter seems better. And we probably see a chum block here. Alright, if we ever draw that 6th land, Scholar's gonna be great, drawing us into more action. Cage gets rid of the Thopter, presumably, or the Animator. Probably the Thopter. Yeah, we could cage the Cage if they go for the Animator. We could have some cage-on-cage action. Yeah, I guess it's headed that way. Seems fine. It's not like we have any better plays. Are we chum blocking again? Nope. Let's draw that card. Alright, that's a good one. Fair enough. So we don't want to make too many blocks that kill our creatures here. Opponent keeps back the brutes. Alright, let's return the favor. So which creatures can attack here? Pioneer, they can block with the Angel. Yeah, we could play the Scholar first. Although by playing the Angel we maybe force them to make some chum blocks, and then they can't second Angel or Heroic Reinforcements or Inspired Charges back as hard. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards playing the Angel here. Yeah, I think we want an Angel first. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think I'm happy trading Animator for Brutes. They can eat Pioneer with their Angel. That also works. They have to block with a Brute here. Because we actively want the red-white deck to lose their creatures, so their pump spells become less effective. If we play Scholar, then sure, we might have a better Angel the turn after, but then we also risk being in an awkward spot if they have an Inspired Charge or another Angel of the Dawn or Heroic Reinforcements. So we have to keep that in mind too. Alright, so we get to kill Falcon. Opponent falls to 1. And sure, our Thopter is no longer giant here, but also we should have tapped our mana better, keep up planes in case we drew Falcon here. But with our opponent 1, the fact that this isn't a 5/5 isn't too relevant, and there we go. Sweet, so that was an interesting game. And Enrique coming in with the 5 months. Thank you so much for the continued support. Let's have some hype in chat. Welcoming back Enrique to the ranks of the Loyal Legion. Alright, so we got to Diamond, 4 wins in a row, so deck's performing pretty well. We've got our 2 signature cards here, but not much else. A 6th land and a 7th land aren't completely useless since we have Meteor Golem and Scholar in our deck. But of course we don't want to draw too many more lands here. Yeah, I think I'm keeping. Alright, not a great start. Alright, that helps. Can bottom any lands now. More Angels. Doesn't give us a turn 4 play, but it is a pretty nice follow-up to Angel. So I think we keep. Archaeologist also means that we're probably not winning a long game. Patrol's unfortunate since it can block a 2/2 Thopter, even if we Angel here. Could bluff attack, don't think they're gonna go for it. Yeah, not an enviable position. Hopefully they attack with a patrol. Opponent draw some cards. Alright. We could Herald first. Hopefully Herald survives and we get to Angel afterwards. And we can mostly win with our flyers here, so even if they play some big ground creatures in green, we can try and outrace them. Opponent going for the ability. I think we're happy to see that, all things considered. Is this a rabbit bite, perhaps? Alright. That's a bummer. I was hoping they would attack. So, yeah, not a great position here. This Angel of the Dawn's pretty underwhelming. Can send both of those. And then we're trading for Highland game. I guess that's fine. Seventh land gives us Meteor Golem, which is pretty strong. They've been activating Archaeologist main phase. Oof, that's a bummer. So that probably implies they don't have many counterspells in their deck. Invocation finds Bristling Boar, kills Angel. Yeah. This game's not going particularly great. Opponent had a big flyer to block our Angel attack plan and has an answer for the Herald of Faith, now an answer for the Angel. Getting hand on cards with the Archaeologist. So we're kind of losing on all fronts. This Meteor Golem kind of wants to clean up both Archaeologist and Patrol, but we have to decide on just one. I guess we kill Archaeologist, since I don't think we can beat the card draw in a long game. Could also go for Angel plus Rogue's Gloves, but we don't get to equip yet. Yeah, I think we have to take out Archaeologist. And then try to somehow outdraw them with Rogue's Gloves in a longer game. But this Patrol is just gonna outrace us too with the Boar. Angel of the Dawn gives us a blocker for Patrol. We'll see. Alright. That's pretty good too here. All the 2-for-1s. At least they didn't kill the Rogue's Gloves. Keeping back the Patrol. Not exactly sure why, but that does make the Rogue's Gloves play pretty bad. And any future Angels just don't have any good plays. Had they attacked with Patrol, then we could have maybe done something. Yeah, they might be playing around Take Vengeance, makes sense. I think we still play it. The mana efficiency is still relevant here. Yikes. Well, now we need to top deck Luminous Bonds, Harromancer's Cage. Dwindle doesn't even solve the issue completely. Exclusion Mage would be, I guess, kind of fine, although they get to replay Reclamation Sage for the Rogue's Gloves. Can double block it. Skilled Animator, does that do anything here? If we equip the Angel, they might even chump block to cut off our outs. If we Animator plus Rogue's Gloves, then we don't have the mana to draw anything that costs more than 3, but at 3 mana we do have most of our answers outside of Harromancer's Cage. So I guess Animator, attack with both. We still have Animator back to chump block the Boar, and then hope to draw an answer is the way to go here. They are indeed chump blocking. So yeah, now we're just dead. To hide the info, we could have indeed equipped Angel attack and keep Animator in hand, and then there's a chance they don't block with the 2/3 flyer. I guess when we're empty-handed there's not much we can represent, so it's an easy play to block there. Yeah, our cards lined up very awkwardly. All those Angels of the Dawn didn't really accomplish anything, they were just 5 mana 3/3 flyers, so they rendered all our cards ineffective. On the play, with no white mana, got a Herald that's double white, some expensive cards at 5 and 4. Don't think we can keep, sadly. On the draw, I might consider keeping this. Alright, almost identical hand, but this time we have an Omen Speaker plus a Scry. Yeah, as much as I want lands, I think we really need to keep plains on top and not island. Yeah, it is possible that Meteor Golem should have killed something else there. But that probably would have meant we just lose a longer game where the opponent draws 3 cards a turn. Turn 1 plains could be an aggressive deck where we want Dwindle. Although we have a lot of blockers with Pioneer and Omen Speaker, so the value of Dwindle goes down a little bit. I think we just want to draw lands. Specifically plains. Alright, opponent on green-white. Well, against green-white, Dwindle would have been pretty good, especially if they start jamming a bunch of auras on their creatures. We might end up regretting that. Although we didn't draw lands, so we were pretty far off from drawing lands anytime soon. Pridemates. Do have a triple block on Chaplain, and Luminous Bonds is a good one. So we could Luminous Bonds a Pridemate right now, but our opponent might overestimate their Pridemate or suicide some of their lifelink creatures just to grow the Pridemate, maybe put an enchantment on it, so I think we can wait for now. If we draw runner lands, then we might regret it, since we might want to go Cavalry into Angel of the Dawn. Right now Pridemate's just a 2/2, so it's not too threatening. Alright, Talons, the Chaplain, and an Axe. So they're kind of diversifying their threats a little bit. Don't have any fantastic block. Can just absorb the 2 damage, but they get to grow Pridemate. Still, Pridemate's only a 3/3. And Chaplain's a pretty good Luminous Bonds target now, since it also locks up the Talons of Wildwood for the near future. We could play the Cavalry, which is a reasonable blocker. Don't hate just playing a Luminous Bonds on the Pridemate. If we play Cavalry, there's a chance our opponent goes all in on the Pridemate with another enchantment or on the Chaplain, and we get even more value out of this Luminous Bonds. Let's say they just equip the Chaplain next turn with Axe. They have a 4/4. How do our blocks look like? We can triple block with Omen Speaker, a 2/2, and a 1/2. They get to kill the 2/2 and the 1/2, which is an okay exchange for us. And then we still have Luminous Bonds for Pridemate. If they have a combat trick besides the Marauder's Axe, we could get crushed. But, And I think I'll leave back the Thopter. Like, the 1 damage could be relevant, but this gives us more options on how to block depending on what they play here. So let's see if the patience on this Luminous Bonds pays off or not. Herald of Faith. It's a pretty good target too. And Herald of Faith plus Pridemate is pretty scary. So we probably want to get rid of that. And then leave the opponent with a 2/4 Chaplain and a 3/3 Pridemate. Alright, so I mean, I'm happy we held on to the Luminous Bonds, I guess. Shieldmare, grows Pridemates. So a lot of life gain synergies here. Don't know if they attack with both or just a Chaplain. Alright, they're gonna hang back. Gives us the opportunity to attack with a Thopter token, try and hit more land drops. But yeah, those are some scary threats. They might be holding their own Inspired Charge or Angel of the Dawn, which can mess up our blocks. Yep. I mean, I think we're still incentivized to kill the Daybreak Chaplain here. Although then, of course, they do get their talents back, and they can still move the axe. So killing the Chaplain doesn't really solve our problems. So we might be better off killing the Pridemate anyway. If we find... I mean, we already use Luminous Bonds. We have Dwindle that we put on the bottom. So we don't have many clean answers to the Chaplain. Whereas the Pridemate, if we draw the Cage, we can answer Pridemate pretty cleanly. But then again, they would get back the talents and the axe they can still move around. Alright, more Pioneers. Can attack with the Thopter now. Can play a Scholar, I suppose. Alright, finally the 5th land. So we've got some okay blocks on the Chaplain now. So who knows, if they don't have any relevant cards left, we might still have a chance. What's our play next turn? Probably Herald of Faith before playing Angel. So when we play Angel of the Dawn, Herald of Faith can attack past their Angel of the Dawn. They do have the option of moving the Marauder's Axe. Alright, they send everyone. We can double block Omen Speaker and Scholar on the Chaplain. Instead of killing just a Scholar, they would get to kill a lot more is the issue. They would get to kill Scholar plus Pioneer or Scholar plus Thopter token. But maybe that's worth it in the spot. I guess quadruple block plays around both Inspired Charge and Mighty Leap, whereas a triple block only plays around Inspired Charge. So I guess I'm down. It's not great to be losing more creatures since we have our own Angels of the Dawn here, but Armasaur. Fair enough. Well, they went pretty wide. 3-2 Rustwing Falcon, 3-3 Angel of the Dawn. The fact that our opponent took a while to decide on their turn kind of made it less likely that they had a pump effect, but still gotta respect it there. Alright, 6 mana, can only play 1 card. If we play Herald of Faith, they can attack into it with most of their stuff. I think that's still the plan. Alright, Chant Armasaur. Attack with everyone. So we could make some trades, or we could do this. And then fall to 1. Eat their Shieldmare, keep the Herald, next turn play Angel, attack with everyone, or attack with Heralds, gain 2 and have 2 flying blockers. They only get to kill 1 of these, so they're killing Omen Speaker. And then what's the board state gonna look like? We gain 2, so we're up to 3. And then we still have a chum blocker for Armasaur, so I think this makes sense. It's definitely walking a tightrope here. Alright, Skilled Animator, so now we also have the option of Pioneer plus Skilled Animator, which would give us a 5-5 flying blocker. That might actually be better here than playing an Angel of the Dawn. So can we still afford to attack with Heralds if we make that play? Go up to 3, but then they have 2 lethal flyers, so that doesn't work. But then they're no longer incentivized to keep attacking with the flyers. They could equip Angel of the Dawn and attack, but then we can just block with Herald of Faith. Yeah, I think I like that. And definitely have to enchant the Thopter instead of the gloves here, since we need the flyer. And if we do hold them back, then playing Angel afterwards is also more effective. In hindsight, the quadruple block could end up costing us the game when we tried to play around Inspired Charge, since we ended up losing an additional creature. But that's why we play the game. Alright, just a land. So hopefully they don't do anything here. Alright, they're moving the equipment onto Armasaur. So that forces us to make some blocks. Probably blocking with a 5-5 and the Pioneers. They get their Trample enchantment back. We get an attack in with Herald of Faith. with Angel of the Dawn, and we have another replacement blocker as well as Herald of Faith on defense. I think this makes sense. Why 2 Pioneers? I mean, it doesn't really matter. Plays around them pumping their creature with 1 toughness. Let's say they had an Inspire Charge, although if they had Inspire Charge they would have played that differently, but you never know. Alright, let's do this. And then we even have the option of equipping the Rogue's Gloves onto Herald of Faith. So yeah, let's do this. Attack with all. They have a good block on Aviation Pioneer, but then they're taking 9 damage here. And we get to draw a card. Opponent gained a ton of life this game, so the extra damage is not necessarily all that amazing, but we do have to start killing them at some point. So pretty tense game here. Falcon attacks. We could double block or we could single block, that's the option we have. If they had a pump spell, we probably see them attacking with the other creature as well. So we could prevent 1 trample damage by double blocking, but then we lose Herald, and we've got another good attack incoming thanks to our second Angel. I think I'm single blocking here. Alright, so let's see if they decide to enchant. This Talons has been pretty annoying, the way the game played out, since we were never able to punish them with like Luminous Bonds on the enchanted creature, but here we are. Alright, so play Angel attack. They're probably gonna block, although we'll see. Alright, hopefully they're out of threats here. No, not quite. Yeah, and Boar with Trample with an axe on it can deal quite a bit of damage. We can only single block the Boar, so we can't even gang chum block it. If the Animator goes in front, we're still taking 4, so that's still lethal. Blocking with Angel doesn't save us, so we need to top deck with this Rogue's Gloves hits, essentially. Alright, let's hope for the best. That'll do it. And we get to live for another turn. And now we're pretty far ahead. If they fail to draw a creature in 1 or 2 turns here, they're going to be very far behind. Alright. Not quite. That's a good one too. So we can play the Horizon Scholar before attacking, so we get more info on the Rogue's Gloves. We can equip the Meteor Golem. Alright, well, Cage makes it so that maybe we don't need to play it this risky, since now we can just cage the Angel. So I guess I will leave both flyers back and just attack with Meteor Golem, so we have extra insurance in case they draw a pump spell. Hey, thanks for the 3 months there, Killa556, welcome back to the ranks of the Loyal Legion. Appreciate the continued support. Talons. Equip. They could even stay back here, and now we really punish them. They still get their enchantment back, but yeah, opponent has seen enough. Well, that was quite a game. Went all the way down to 1, but yeah, a nice key top deck Meteor Golem definitely helped us out. Alright, how about this hand? We haven't seen Sigil Sword in action yet in this entire draft. This is a potentially very explosive draw. We get to play turn 2 Rogue's Gloves that we can enchant with Animator. Need to draw some lands. We have a 5-drop and a 6-drop that we're pretty far from casting, but it has a lot of upside, like we get to make it turn 3 5/5. if we draw any land, so I think I'm in. Alright, turn 1 Rustwing Falcon, there's a land. So these Rogue's Gloves are not gonna stay Rogue's Gloves very long. Bang. Skilled Animator's probably been one of our most valuable cards this draft. Definitely one of some games. Tolarian Scholar. So we're fine to attack. And then do we Sigiled Sword? I guess so. I guess Sigiled Sword is weaker in the face of a removal spell, but I imagine if they had a Luminous Bonds, they would have used it. Otherwise we could Omen Speaker to dig for lands, to have a more normal game where we play Scholar, draw lands, play Herald into Horizon Scholar, but yeah, gotta dream big sometimes. So just a chum block. Works for me. We actually want to get rid of this Tolarian Scholar since it blocks the 2/2 tokens we get from Sigiled Sword. But we'll see how this plays out. Alright, so I'm actually preferring playing Scholar here over Equipping. Equipping just gives us +2/+0, but they get to eat a token for free, so that doesn't seem worth it here. They could have Inspired Charge defensively. I think that's fine. We trade Inspired Charge for Gloves and Scholar. I guess in the face of Inspired Charge, Equipping is kind of nice, because then we would still kill both creatures. There we see the defensive Inspired Charge like we expected, that's fine. We get to clear the Tolarian Scholar, so now the Sigiled Sword is still effective later. And then we draw a card. Alright, Angel of the Dawn, that's fine. So that's another blocker for the Sigiled Sword token. Aviation Pioneer. Would have been nice to draw 5th land. We can Omen Speaker to set that up. That ties up our entire turn. Scholar of Stars is fine to attack. Could equip Skilled Animator, attack with everyone, and just try and race. They just block the 2/2 and then take 6. I mean, I guess that's fine. Opponent does make the block on the knight. Down to 9. Dwarven Priest to stem the bleeding. Alright. We're still at 17 here, so we should be pretty safe. Alright, double angel. Our hand's getting pretty stacked with angels here. So what happens if we attack with Skilled Animator? They can double block, but then we get to keep a 2/2. And we get to kill a Falcon, so I think Animator's fine to attack. I don't want to attack with the Scholar, I don't think. The extra power is actually pretty relevant with Angel of the Dawn, since that lets us attack past the Priest. So this seems fine. They could double block the Animator and lose a Falcon. And then we need to spend mana re-equipping. That's kind of what I expected them to do. And it's time to play Omen Speaker to help us find that land at long last. Well, there we go. I think we keep both lands here. 6 mana, both lets us play Scholar or equip Sword as well as Pioneer. Alright, more Falcons. So what do we want to do first here? Probably play Herald of Faith. Just build up our board steadily. Next turn we can Scholar, and then we can start jamming Angel of the Dawns. And then the Scry on Scholar lets us find more action. Dwindle seems fine. Don't need land 7 as much. Do have to be mindful of an opposing Inspire charge here, don't want to die. But it's looking good. Knight's Pledge makes Dwindle look pretty good. And a defensive Knight's Pledge is extra punishing here. So we can Dwindle, equip Herald of Faith, I guess. Or Scholar. I guess equipping Scholar plays around a pump spell on Falcon a little bit better. Should have actually attacked with the other Knight token as well, since they get a free block here and we would have gotten into extra damage. But looks like we might get there regardless. Alright, GG's. Didn't even need Angel of the Dawn after all. Alright, 6 and 1, not bad. Alright, solid hand. Got artifacts to go with Animator, Omen Speaker to draw a third land hopefully. Lots of artifact synergies. Turn 1 Vanguard's always scary. Alright, blue-white. A little less scary. Just want to make sure we hit our land drops here. So I think I'll keep land. 4 mana. So turn 3 we're probably going to Pioneer. Turn 4 either Scholar or Animator. Turn 5 probably Herald. Seems good. Could get greedy and bottom one of the lands, since we're somewhat likely to draw another one anyway. Oof. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, that's a combo right there. Pridemate's gonna grow up to a 4/4, and now we kind of get punished for not keeping a removal spell on top, and this Pridemate's gonna go to town. Yeah, it's kind of the dream curve here. Vanguard, Chaplain, Pridemate. Opponent is stuck on 2 lands. We do want to make sure that we can maybe present good blockers on the Chaplain. So I think the plays Pioneer, which gives us 3 power to block Chaplain. And then Animator gives us a way to maybe trade off. Although opponent can just wait until the Pridemate becomes bigger, but that buys us more time to find an answer. Could also play Scholar. This is going to be a 6/6. We would have to quadruple block the Pridemate. Doesn't sound amazing. Yeah, I don't think we can really race. Just need to draw a good answer off the top. Scholar gives us more draw steps, so there is an argument for playing Scholar so we can draw towards the removal spell faster. And then just try and chum block Pridemate. Animator maybe makes him not attack with the Pridemate for a couple turns. So, this one's close. Pridemate does attack. Alright, I mean, what's the best pump spell they can have here? +2/+2. They could have a Disperse, but not much we can do there. So I think we just gang block with everyone. +2/+2 gives them an 8/8 Pridemate, and we still get to kill it. Yeah, I guess Aegis +1/+7 wrecks us, but don't necessarily expect to face that card. Blocking with Animator is still necessary to play around Mighty Leap, otherwise we wouldn't kill the Pridemate, and Presumably the Thopter dies anyway, so we don't really need Animator anymore. Alright, Revitalize to pump it, fair enough. So that's kind of a pump spell in its own right, but we got rid of the Pridemate, which is all that really matters right now. We can play the Herald here. Next turn we still can't quite play both of these. We might draw into another Pioneer and then go Pioneer plus Sigil Sword or another 3-drop. It's gonna take a while before we get our card out of Scholar, or we could play Sword and Equip, which is 6 mana worth of plays, which is pretty efficient as well. So let's play Herald. And hope they can't answer it right away. And we get to... Oof. Leonin Warleader, opponent with Cat Tribal here, Vanguard, Warleader, Pridemate. This is one scary card. Could play Angel of the Dawn, attack with Herald, still have it back on defense, and we have multiple blockers for Warleader. And then if we pick up a 7th land, we can go Sigil Sword plus Scholar of Stars. But if they have more pump spells or removal spells, then we're in trouble. At least if they have a single removal spell on Herald, we still get to double block Warleader. But then we do lose our entire board presence. And our opponent's left with a bunch of lifelinkers, so... Yeah, Warleader is one of those cards that you have to answer right away, otherwise it's gonna run away with the game. Yeah, they have a lot of spells in hand, so... Alright, that's not so bad. So they don't have a way to pump the Warleader. Alright, so we can go Sword plus Scholar, try and draw an answer to the Warleader. And do we feel comfortable attacking with a Herald of Faith? I mean, if they had an Inspired Charge, I don't think they would have necessarily played Priest first, although that is an option. Yeah, I think I do want to attack. Since even if they answer one of our 3-powered creatures, we can still double block on Warleader. I guess we'll see what we draw first here, maybe that changes our plan. Cavalry gives us more blockers too. Yeah, I think I'm attacking. Can't afford to attack with the Angel of the Dawn here, since otherwise a removal spell is kind of a blowout. Now it's not so bad. They could of course have their own Angel of the Dawn, but then we still get to double or triple block. Could put the sword on a ground creature to start attacking, that's also reasonable. Then we have a better block on the Warleader as well. Yeah, I guess I can buy that, put it on the Scholar, attack with it, we're fine if it trades, kind of. Think we still leave back the Angel. Alright, opponent trades. Play Cavalry. So it was looking very sketchy for a second there. Opponent missing land drops definitely helps, but their power level is through the roof here. Warleader, Jin, all those life gain synergies. They're not making it easy. Want to keep up the pressure with the flyers here. Yeah, this might be an attack with everyone situation. Because we get an extra 2/2 anyway. And they might respect Inspired Charge. Keep the equipment on the Angel, I think. Not the draws we were hoping for. Is it still an attack with everyone situation? They did have a slight pause, so they might have a 2-mana trick here. This is a little worse if we draw Angel of the Dawn in the next couple turns. But some of the flyers are tied up by our flyers. I guess not exactly, since they have Chaplain to gain life as well, but... Alright, they're making those blocks anyway. So do they have a trick? Revitalize. Alright. So win mage trades. So the attack with the tokens didn't look amazing here. Move the equipment, I don't think we do. Yeah, I mean our opponent still has Jin, infinite cards in hand, and we're kind of flooding out, so we need something off the top. If they answer the Angel, then we're pretty much in trouble. The token we get from the Sigil Sword is actually not helping us out too much in the face of this Daybreak Chaplain. They're either gonna wish with a Jin, or they have some sort of effect here. But yeah, still good attack. And now we'll keep the token back. Well, that's kind of ridiculous. They've got black mana in there too. Alright, so they were playing a third color. Not that they really needed it. But yeah, this Epicure is gonna kill us pretty quickly. And Dwindle doesn't do much anymore. Would have been nice last turn. Double Epicure. Yikes. Neonate. So, opponent with a pretty greedy mana base here. Looks like black-white splashing blue for Jin and even Windmate. I guess they're just straight up 3 colors here. Since you're not splashing a Neonate even with double Epicure in the deck, I don't think. But yeah, now the Warleader lifelink is gonna translate into a lot of damages. Kind of have to block the Warleader. I think we're pretty dead here. So let's do a recount here. 8, 9, 10. Plus 6 is 16. We're gaining 3. So I think we go to 1 here. If I'm not mistaken. Alright, we're at 1. There's a Scholar a little bit late to the party. Yeah, we're just super dead here. Let's see what was waiting on top. Yeah, let's just get this over with. Plans to stream other games? No, not really. Yeah, the Sand seems totally fine. Falcon and Pioneer as nice targets for gloves. Hope they don't have a big enough blocker for those 1-powered creatures here. And then gloves can translate into a lot of cards. Alright, Neonates. Blue-black control, presumably. Interesting whether or not we want to play the Pioneer or equip the gloves. If our opponent keeps up 3 mana, Neonates plays well with counterspells, Essence Scatter, Cancel. So equipping the gloves is just a more efficient use of our mana. They would need Disperse as an interactive instant here. Murder is double black, they can't do that. So yeah, I think I like equipping instead of playing more stuff out into a counterspell. Get the cards flowing. And then next turn we can play Pioneer. Alright, looks like Strangling Spores. I mean, good removal spell, but they had to use it on a 1-drop here, so it doesn't feel too bad. Scholar is more mana efficient. And then next turn we can go Pioneer plus Equip. The only problem here is that we don't get to equip a Flyer, which of course is the preferred target. But I think I'm still down to play the Scholar here. Cage, nice. So our hand is shaping up nicely. Seeing the power of gloves here. Opponent spending all their premium removal spells just to prevent us from connecting with our equipment. But we've got way more creatures where that came from. So opponent trying to stem the bleeding, so they don't let the card advantage go out of hand here. But eventually they're going to run out of removal spells, and we're going to draw more powerful creatures, and they'll be out of answers. And yeah, there we go. So Rogue's Gloves plus Flyers, definitely a pretty powerful strategy. Sweet, so we got to 7 wins eventually, with a nice blue-white artifact-themed deck with some strong uncommons. The Sigiled Sword actually didn't perform all that well in the games we saw. Although in the matchup we just played, it would have been pretty amazing. Like, our opponent has an 0-3 blocker that doesn't kill the Knight tokens we keep generating. So the blue-black control matchup is exactly where Sigiled Sword shines. But equipment in general are great against control decks with a bunch of spot removal. Let's crack some packs. Vivian's Invocation's a good one. Pack one, pick one. I mean, Archer's good too. Invocation keeps us in one color. Brute is kind of the boring pick if you just want to build an aggro deck that's maybe more consistent. And finally, Detection Tower, not really a high pick. What would I take here? Blood Divination can be a nice one to build around. Either the red-black sacrifice deck, it can still be fine in any black deck if you combine it with Doom Dissenters, for example. Reassembling Skeletons has some upside, although it's arguably worse than just normal divination. And nothing else too exciting. I mean, Rabbit Bites, okay removal, but green is maybe one of the weaker colors in M19 draft from my experience. Alright, so I think that's gonna wrap things up for today. But for now, wanna thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. And as always, have a nice day.
I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.